Today I'm looking at a gun from the land of Top Gear, Shakespeare, and warm beer, the G&G L85 AFV. G&G lists this as the L85 AFV for tanker crews, armed personnel carriers, helicopter crews. Basically what they did was they cut down an L86 support weapon, which I think they stopped using those for being a support weapon and just use those as designated marksman rifles because they're very long and accurate. And they modified them into these for the tank crews and whatnot. But most of these I've seen online, they tend to be called the L22, either L22, L22A1, L22A2. But the L22A1 and L22A2 pictures, they both look the same. They both look like the A2 version that was modified by Heckler & Koch, or Koch, HK. You know, you can link me to the correct pronunciation down in the comments. But I'm American, so, you know, pronounce it how you want. Anyway, so the noticeable feature, because most of the improvements were internal for reliability on these weapons, is this little sort of ear shape, sort of like a comma maybe. This used to just be the charging handle where it was round, but now it is sort of like a comma, so it'll deflect the brass on the real one. So sort of like on the M60 and the M4, where the brass hits that little guard so it doesn't hit you in the face or hit, you know, your friend in the face, kind of gets, you know, diagonally out forward. They have this to, you know, prevent that. The real gun is not ambidextrous. There's only one ejection port. It's not like the AUG or the you know, where you can swap it, or the FAMAS or the P90 where it goes just straight down for the shells. And also, it's got some good trades. I don't know if the serial numbers are unique, but that seems to be the new thing that Airsoft companies are doing with their higher end guns. This is a Top Tech line model. I think it goes for about $370. But you see it's got nice trades engraved on there and etched and then white painted. You know, L85 A2, you know, 5.56 and whatnot. They also have their marking on the bottom of the mag. The other side is just, you know, G&G armament. So nothing really fancy there. They didn't put HK on it. I guess on the rebuilt guns it said like HK up near the top, but probably so they didn't get sued without having the HK license. Would be my guess. This is really cool. Like I said, it weighs about 7-8 pounds, sort of hefty gun. Even more with the SUSAT sight on it, which it comes with. So if you can say that quickly, she sells SUSAT sights by the seashore. It's a really cool sight. Has your iron sights up top. For quick acquisition, let me just turn this on. Try to get this on camera of the little, kind of hard to do because, you know, it's a camera, it's not an eye. Easier to do with your eye. It's a 4-power scope, and it has a little red blade sort of coming up in the middle. I'll show you that. Yeah, I think that's 4. It might be 2, could be 4. It's definitely a zoom. And, I'll show you how that goes on a little later and how to put the battery in, because with this gun it's different than the regular L85s by ICS and G&G, and I think even Aries, but you know, they have the full plastic handguard that you put the battery in there. The battery's actually in here. I already got it in already, but I'm going to take it out and show you anyway. What other features do we get on this thing? We have a lockable bolt catch. This is not a blowback model, so you just kind of push this guy down once you're all the way back, and you can see in there it's I think it's an M4 hop-up. I didn't disassemble this. This actually, when this came in, somebody put money down on it right then when we got it in. You know, so it's sort of like, oh, do I do a review on it or not? But you know, review is only going to be like 20 BBs through it, so and we can tell the person, you know, how much it chronoed at. But so you just do that, and then bolt goes forward. The safety is a cross bolt style, or a cross trigger, so it blocks the trigger. I'm not going to pull the trigger because it has a battery in it. So, you know, it's a pretty effective safety. And on this side, we have an R and an A. If it follows anything like the other British guns, I'm assuming its repetition is your semi-auto and A is automatic. And when I shot it, it indeed was that way. but I'm assuming it's, or must be for repetition for a single shot. And what else we got over here? We have the mag release. This thing, I think this was also another upgrade that HK did with this bigger sort of guard around it to prevent knocking your mag catch with your against your body or whatnot. I think that was one of the other updates that HK did to it, other than the internal and the whatnot. It has two slings, sling points right there and there, and got some rattling going on down here. But yeah, so sight's pretty cool. It comes with a little tool to adjust it. It's got like a little wrench. It's rather neat. The box is nothing to write home about. The manual it comes with does not even mention how to put the battery in this one. It shows you how to do it into the regular A2, which has the plastic handguard and longer barrel. And it doesn't mention how to put, SUSAT on. So I'll just show you how to do it. I think I have a video from up earlier, but I'll probably take that down once I do this video to show you how to do it in sort of a more of a review type setting as opposed to just an aside. So with that, let's change the camera position. I can show you how to put the scope on and how to put the battery in. So both the scope and the battery kind of require the same sort of initial steps. So I'll show you how to do the scope first. Basically, you need a flathead screwdriver because this is actually really tight on there, this little catch area. When I was trying to do it initially, after looking at the manual, which wasn't really helping too much, it sort of came obvious after fiddling around with it. You kind of just put it there and it's sort of sprung, but it's stiff. May loosen up over time, but right now it's stiff. So you got this Phillips screw with also a slot in it, so you could use either. And you just kind of unwind that. Alright, and on the SUSAT, there's two little tightening wing nuts here that we're going to undo. It's one of two things that, or one of three things if you count both of those, that keep it on to the rail. So you just push up on this little lever right here, spring a little lever, and just slide it forward. And there we go. So if you look at that, that's the SUSAT. It's pretty neat. The British Army is replacing these, I think, with ACOGs and the Elcan Spectre, which is that I think it's a 4x magnified sight that with a flip of a lever it just goes to the red dot, the 1x red dot, which is really cool. Which you might have seen on some newer videos and pictures from Afghanistan and Iraq. But still, this is a nice add-on. The scope alone goes for I think it was $150, but is included with this gun. It does not come with the carry handle sight, which I'm not even sure is really a carry handle. I think it's just a sight. It's not Picatinny. There's no, the rails aren't, it's just a solid rail and it has these little divots. So I don't know if when they're switching to the ACOGs, if they're switching this out, if they're, at the field or whatever, or just have an adapter because it has these little holes to locate your eye relief. So also with that screw out, now I can show you how to take the battery out. On the regular one, apparently there's this isn't here, and it's more of a pull pin. There's no rail right here, just plastic, and you pull that out on the G&G. But with this one, you just kind of force it forward, and it's a nice solid heavy piece. That thing probably weighs like 1.5 pounds by itself. It's a nice piece. See, you got a birdcage flash hider in there as well. I didn't check to see the threading on it. Like I said, someone put a down payment on this gun. Instantly we got it, and he's picking it up tomorrow, so that's why I'm doing the review today. But, dual rails. It's really comfortable if you put a forward hand grip on it. Yeah, it's really nice and comfortable. You can put a flashlight here. So we have a lipo battery. There is an 8.4 battery specifically made for this. But this is a 7.2 lipo. I wouldn't recommend putting an 11.1 in this thing. It's just going to be too much. At first we thought maybe a buffer tube, but then we figured out we can just kind of go backwards, and that would help. It would give us room. So this is just a 1200 milliamp hour 7.4 lipo. Gives it an okay rate of fire. It's not really meant for speed. So I'll just put this back in there. So basically, once you have that off, your barrel's right here. When I look at the barrel, I think I don't have a micrometer, but I do have a caliper. and it's like a 603, 604-ish. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately, we don't have a range here at the store because we're in a suburban area, so can't go and shoot guns out the back without the police getting called. So basically, you want to put it on like this. If you put it on like this, you won't have enough room if you put the battery in first, then the connectors, because it hits this. So, I mean, that'll work if you have an 850 milliamp buffer tube lipo, but with a 1200, you get more playtime. So, just put it in like this. And G&G, like I said, has a nickel metal hydride 8.4 that fits in here. Just want to be kind of careful. You don't want to. It's a lipo. You don't want to like manhandle it and rip the wires. So you just gently kind of put it in there and push it back into this upper compartment. Just kind of nudge the power connector down a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. So we're in there. We got enough clearance for this metal part right here, because this goes into the barrel. Not to the barrel, to the upper receiver. So let's slide this on. The metal finish is really nice. It's got these this cool olive drab grips too, and butt pad. So it's got a nice finish to it. Let's put the battery in. I'm assuming the 8.4 that comes from G&G is the same, but they're kind of hard to find. 7.4 buffer tube and 1200 milliamp ones are easy to find because they fit in buffer tubes and forward hand grips of M4, so they're very common. So as I was saying before, with taking it off, it's the reverse of the installation. So you got your little clamp that brings up this little button at the bottom, and this has to be over to fit on there. You can't go from the back. If you go from the back, it just won't work. You'll probably rip up the rubber pad. So just kind of drag that down and slide it on to where we think it's good, because it's got 3 positions. So it's slid down there, and we're going to tighten these guys down. Click that back in place. Like I said, it's easier to pop this open with a screwdriver. With your fingers, you're not going to be able to do it until it's kind of bedded in. And there you go. That's how you put the battery and the scope on the L85 AFV. So now let's go to the chrono test. So I'm not using my normal 9.6 1600 milliamp nickel metal hydride battery for this. I'm using the 7.4 1200 milliamp hour lipo battery because the 9.6 won't fit. It's just it's too big. And I'd have to take the front barrel and rail assembly off to even have it there, and then the barrel will just be hanging out in the air. So we're going to chrono this with the 7.4. It's going to have less rounds per minute than a 9.6 and well, more than an 8.4. Just the way that the lipos work, the higher discharge rating. So let's see what it does. So 341, not bad. Yeah, not good. 334. So it's 583 rounds per minute. This isn't a fully charged 7.4. It's probably about 60 to 70% charged because I've been using it earlier. So on a full charge, you may almost get to 600 with the 7.4 lipo. So I've seen you guys out in the field wearing your DPM camo, and I know you got it cheap because I shop at the Sportsman Guide too, and getting 2 DPM shirts for $10, or 2 pairs of pants for $10, and a load-bearing vest for $15 of the current issue British stuff. That's a good deal. So I'm betting you have money squirreled away to pay for a $360 gun. It might not sound cheap, but it is a G&G Top Tech. It has high-end internals. It comes with a scope that's worth $150 alone with a red dot. Very nice finish on it. Nice feel on the plastics and the rubber. And most importantly, for any sort of bullpup or any sort of gun out there when you're, rocking and rolling out in the field, it uses Stenag mags. So if anyone has an M4, you can just say, hey, I'm out of ammo, or I have out of mags, can I borrow one? And they'll have one, which with a FAMAS or an AUG or P90, they're not going to have that. So you're kind of like stuck there speed loading, and hopefully you brought BBs. But if you like this gun or any of the other awesome guns we got, we tend to get into unique guns almost every week that other places don't carry. We don't carry just typical M4s. We have them, and we love them, but we like to get unique stuff every now and then, too. We're located at 565 Main Street in Cherry Valley, Massachusetts. Cherry Valley is also part of Leicester, Massachusetts. We're open 6 days a week, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. It helps, and I'll see you on the next review.